Yo, and welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. My name is Sanji, with me is Kendall. How you doing, boy?
Doing great, man, doing great. How are you?
Not too bad, buddy. Haven't seen you in some time. Are you enjoying your summer?
I am. It's really, really hot. I need to get in the pool or something.
Yeah, I could have done with a pool today. The UK was piping, absolutely piping today. All right, man. Before we, reveal who you are, the massive club that you're representing, let's do fan introduction. All right. Why don't you tell us your name, your Twitter handle, the club that you're representing today, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do.
Cool. My name's Kendall. I live over across the pond in Raleigh, North Carolina. Twitter handle is Realcoholics. Big club, massive club in the northeast of England, is Newcastle. Been supporting them for quite some time now, say 20-ish years or so, ever since I was a little kid growing up playing. What do I do? I coach, work in construction, have a little pup, Geordie Boston Terrier that we just rescued. Love my life. That's kind of the spiel. He loves pizza.
I'm so excited for this episode because everyone is absolutely high on Newcastle assets for this season. We're talking first round, start of second round. So yeah, listeners, welcome back to another Inside Trax series episode. We're gonna dig into everything Magpies, everything Newcastle United, and I cannot wait. Quick breakdown for how this episode's gonna go. We're gonna have 3 main segments: a general discussion, a draft advice segment, and just a general gameplay advice and experience advice segment. So first segment, we're just basically going to talk about Eddie Howe, any changes at the club. We're going to look back at previous season's performance versus new season's expectations. Talk about how they ran their system last season, see if there's any changes for the upcoming campaign, and then Kendall's expected formation and starting 11 for the 24-25 campaign. And then obviously we're going to chat some Fantrax assets in our draft segment. We're going to get Kendall's first pick from Newcastle, his next 3 picks, which rounds, at least 1 hidden gem, and then also a trap asset. And then finally, in our last segment, which is again general advice, we're gonna just pick Kendall's brain as an experienced Fantrax manager in our community. He used to play in the Toga days, right? So we're gonna find out how he does his draft pick trades, maybe his waiver claims if he's got a strategy there, and then some of his lessons learned over the past few years of playing this game. All right, Kendall, let's get started, mate. So you guys were in the Champions League last season. Gave it a good go. You got the group of death, which was quite unfortunate, right? So unfortunately, you went out in the group stage. But I mean, it's kind of heartwarming to know that some of your opponents made it up to the quarterfinal, semi-final, and even the finals as well, right? So it kind of just speaks volumes of the sort of juggernauts that you were fighting against in Europe. A couple of cup runs, both ended in the similar stage, quarterfinals for FA Cup and EFL Cup, and then you ended up finishing 7th in the Premier League, narrowly missing out on European football. How was last season for you?
Tough to watch. Beginning was good. I'd say beginning was exciting. Just being in the Champions League. First game was at home in St. James Park. First PSG, and thumped them 4-1. Just seeing that was awesome. I thought that was a great start to the season to just have that be the first game of the Champions League for us in 20 years. And for that to be the ending was incredible. It set the season up as kind of like a false hope, though. Didn't win, I think, another game in the group stage. And yeah, like you said, I mean, not only was the group tough as shit, got cheated a little bit from some calls, but then also the cup draws were brutal too. I think Man City away, Manchester United. I mean, it was just it was all shitty. It just went downhill.
Yeah,
it was really, really downhill. Everybody got hurt. We're playing a 17-year-old for, I don't know, half the season, starting Champions League games. I mean, I give him credit, Lewis Smiley, but not I guess what you would really want out of that team.
Yeah, I mean, now though, I want to say St. James's Park has I don't know, leveled up in terms of a fortress, like a stadium that you don't really want to visit. I mean, other than like Liverpool and the City and the absolutely rogue Chris Wood hat-trick Nottingham Forest 3-1 win. Like, you guys were basically smashing teams at home, right? I mean, you go back to the first day of the season, Newcastle 5, Aston Villa 1. Like, that kind of set the tone for what teams had to expect coming to visit St. James's Park. So, I mean, yes, okay, it was a massive challenge having Champions League and the league and etc. But now that you don't have that European commitment, a lot of Trax managers, I think, are eyeing up you guys as like, okay, this is the team to kind of buy into for next season, because they're going to want to get back into Europe. And that means goals. That means maybe clean sheets. Because even if you look at the table, sure, you're 7th place. But if you look at the goals scored, like 4, you're in 4th, 85, right? Behind Liverpool on 86, Arsenal on 91, City on 96. And the next drop off is 77 by my boys from Chelsea. So listen, you guys are still a force to be reckoned with.
Definitely. 100%. I mean, I don't know, the Browns, the kind of, I guess, unspoken thing is like trying to push to win the league this year isn't, I don't think, an outrageous expectation to at least try it. I'm not saying we're going to win, but to push that, finish second, finish third isn't unreasonable in our minds. Coming from finishing 4th and then seeing how we did first, like you were saying, at home, first top competition. And this preseason, we've played 2 Champions League teams in Girona and Brest, I think, from France, who both finished top 4 in their tables, going on to EPL. And I think it was like a 4-0 win and 2-1.
1-0.
I believe.
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah. So, I mean, still 2 clean sheets, right?
Yeah, so 2 clean sheets, 2 wins versus Champions League competition. Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, like, I think it's sky high and pushing for a cup. So hopefully the injuries won't even come into play this season. I mean, knock on wood. But
yeah,
that's kind of, I guess, the expectations for the season.
Has anything changed at the club, hierarchy-wise or management? I'm assuming Tyndall is still there, taking all the spotlight.
He is. He's still there. He's still there. I think the only. I think we got like Amanda Staley left and her husband.
Yeah.
They sold their shares, and then they got Paul Mitchell in as director of football. Since the whole Ashley gardening leave, I don't know. I think that's just like a British thing. I have no idea. That does not happen in America. So it's very confusing to me. But yeah, Paul Mitchell coming in is a massive get. Director of football at Monaco, worked at Southampton when they were selling and creating all these crazy players, like the Andy Robertsons of the world and whatnot. So a huge get there. I do even believe that Manchester United was trying to get him to work under Dan Ashworth.
Okay.
And he said, screw you guys. Fuck it. I'll go up north. Interesting.
All right. How about we talk about some ins and outs as far back as last summer? So for you guys in the summer, one of the hot names that's going around a lot of drafts, and I'm sure we're going to talk about him at the end of this little ins and outs segment, is you guys had actually gotten Minte last summer in from Odense, right?
Yes. Yep.
I mean, obviously, PSR is also like the hot goss topic in the papers, and yeah, there was a reason that you guys had to eventually let him go. But if I'm not mistaken, he went out on loan that same summer that you guys had gotten him as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think he went to
Feyenoord, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean we'll get to him eventually, right? But in terms of like let's start with the outs. We mentioned Chris Wood earlier coming back to St James's Park, scoring that hat trick. Are you kind of sad to have seen him move on from the club, knowing like
No,
yeah,
no. I mean, it would have helped last year when all of our players got hurt to have a striker.
yeah,
And I mean, honestly, kudos to the guy. I mean, not only did he score a hat trick for us, but he went off. I mean, like when he came back and started playing, I mean, the guy was just scoring goals here, left and right. I mean, it was awesome for him. He wasn't going to fit in the long term plans of things, so it wasn't too sad to see him leave.
Okay, and another big name that left that summer was, I mean, board game creator Alan Saint Maximin.
Oh,
did you end up getting the board game still?
No,
No.
I can't. I can't. And the app stopped working on my phone.
Oh man,
Helios, yeah.
what
It was fun.
what a
Though.
shame.
It is.
I
Fun.
mean, he's fun,
I
right?
know. He is fun. He's awesome. Oh man, I miss him.
I miss his social media presence, like just trolling people randomly on Twitter, you know, like.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think he's back. He's back in Europe now, though.
oh, is he? Okay,
I think-
okay.
Yeah, he went to Fenerbahce.
Okay, man, everyone's ending up in
Mourinho.
Turkey now, eh? Just
I know.
it's like
crazy.
it's like the European version of MLS. I don't know if that's like is that insulting to say?
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. They have teams in Champions League.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some ins. Yeah, let's start in defense, man. You got one of our boys, Lewis Hall, last summer. He had his moments last season. I mean, from a Fantrax perspective, definite ghost potential. He has attacking returns in him. What are you expecting from him for the upcoming campaign?
Yeah, I think, well, at least right from the get-go, Shard may have been hurt yesterday. Kind of waiting on the news. Dan Burns been playing in the middle, the left center back position. So I think Hall's going to get a start right off the bat. Even he's talked about how when he came in, fitness-wise, understanding Howe's system, he wasn't just there. He just wasn't there yet. And I think by the end of the season, he was pushing for a place, and really has, at least from the preseason showings. I mean, I think he's going to be right there in the mix of things, and I think at least from the beginning, starting. I love him, and playing right behind Gordon is going to give him a lot of freedom to bomb forward. I think there is a little bit of just inexperience, being young from a defending side. I don't think that you're going to see a 2 year ago Newcastle team that was putting up clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. The away form last year was tough for us, and I think the home form will stay relatively the same. I think maybe a couple more clean sheets there with Pope being in the goal too.
Yeah.
But Hall is going to be a massive player, like you said, putting up a lot of points.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of, like, mentioning Pope, it's kind of crazy to think, like, how long he was out for last season, and, like, him coming back now. I feel like people aren't making enough of a big deal about, like, how good he was and, how much he contributes to you guys keeping clean sheets as well.
It was huge. I don't know. I mean, later in the season, when Dubravka came in and started playing for him, they put up, stats and points of Newcastle with Pope and Newcastle with Dubravka, and we're like in relegation battles when Dubravka's in goal.
Yeah.
And we're pushing top 4 when Pope's in goal.
Yeah.
So it's huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's stark contrast. All right, another name to quickly mention coming in from Southampton, Tino Livramento. He was also at one point a Chelsea player, and I know how good that kid is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm hoping that it's the case, but can we expect maybe more minutes, more starts from him this season, you think?
I think I think he'll definitely get some more minutes. I think it definitely, like, Eddie's gonna back down on Trippier's minutes, especially in games when we're up 2-0 3-1. Game's kind of done. Last dying minutes. Livermento's got experience and the talent, like you said, to come in and do that. Cup games, I think, he'll be in there too. He's definitely going to be able to mix them. I mean, we all saw it, right? He's getting a little older.
Yeah.
Still has some talent, but I mean, even last year, he was making uncharacteristic mistakes that, I mean, to be honest, cost us moving on the Champions League.
Yeah.
And so I think Livramento will definitely get some minutes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job. All right. Couple more ins. Harvey Barnes coming in from Leicester City. But I mean, listen, we touched on you guys having a lot of injuries and stuff, right? And that definitely hampered his productivity and ability to break into the team. How's he looking this preseason?
Awesome. Scored, I think, the only goal when we beat them the other day. Yeah, looking good, looking up to speed. Is eager to get back in and show himself. I'd expect a lot of minutes out of Harvey.
Okay. Would you say he's gonna start more games or be subbing on, like, at least maybe first half of the season, given the injury, right?
Yeah. So the injury, I think he's well good and all past that. I think it's going to come down to the formation and where Eddie is playing people. Is he going to put somebody on the right, somebody on the left? The biggest need right now in our case is like a right winger, a true right winger. Upgrade over Miggy or Murphy. Can Gordon go over there and play over there? Can Barnes go over there and play over there? Or even, I didn't even mention this, but can Livramento possibly play on the right wing?
Yeah.
In front of Trax.
Yeah. Liverpool played out of position, I think, a couple times last season.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, just because we had to. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
It's a point where we literally had 3 goalies on our bench.
Yeah, it was pretty rough for us last season for sure, man.
God.
But yeah, definitely excited to see Harvey back in the pitch again. Final name, Sandro Tonali. FFP and all this bullshit and all this. Who gets docked points? Who gets banned? Paqueta's still playing. Like, poor Tonali, man. God. Well, or Rich, depending on whether or not he won those bets.
I don't know. I don't know. Did he get to keep the money? I don't know. Did he still even get paid last year? Yeah, but I'll bet you he plays this year.
Did he play preseason?
Yes.
Like, what's going on? Like,
he can't. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if he played in Japan when they went over there, but he didn't play in the 2 games this weekend.
Okay.
At all. I don't think he can. I think he can come back like 2nd game, 3rd game.
Okay.
Something like that.
So he's back. He's back soon.
Yes, he's back soon.
Yeah.
Very, very soon.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go right into the starting 11.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a bit of a opinion on what Tonali can bring to the team, I would suggest listening back to our last Inside Trax Newcastle episode, right? I thought you covered that topic quite well. So yeah, I'd plug that old episode. Go back, listen it. I don't think we need to rehash it. We know how good of a play he is, etc. So let's move on to the winter window. Let's see. So for the winter window, you had maybe like one in. It was this kid named Alfie Harrison coming in from Manchester City. Like, other than that, nothing significant happened in that window, I want to say.
No. Yeah. Not really.
So then sorry, you want to say something?
No, I don't think anything serious happened.
Yeah. So looking at the current window, there's definitely more movement. Paul Dummett got released. Matt Ritchie got released. Bye-bye Loris Karius, Jeff Hendrick, Elliot Anderson. Actually, let's talk about him. This was PRSR shit, right? That's why he had to leave?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and huge fee for him.
Yeah.
I think it was like 35, 40, something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty big. Are you sad to see him leave? He looked like a solid number 8
I
with
am.
some...
Yeah, he was a solid role player.
Yeah.
And an academy kid.
Yeah.
So that always hurts.
Yeah.
And I think he's only 21 years old.
Yeah, he's pretty young, man. 21-year-old. Yeah.
Which, and I guess this kind of brings up a good point, is there are certain, I don't know the exact rules for UCL rosters, but I do believe that some of your players have to be homegrown.
Right.
And so I don't know what happens next year when, he was a lock. He was a starting caliber player.
Yeah.
And so that's going to hurt. If we get top 4 next year, having him gone is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be somebody that steps up and plays, but who knows?
Yeah. Hopefully. There's kids like flying across clubs so much this season. I will be surprised if you guys do some deals as soon as you confirm Champions League, right? Just to kind of meet those rules and requirements, etc. Next name, or final out to kind of talk about, and again we mentioned him, was Yukoba Minte. Yeah, this kid looks a proper gem, Kendall.
He is very good. Very, very, very fucking good. Absolute bummer.
I'm surprised one of the big boys didn't snap him up, actually, like Liverpool or something.
I was too. I think right when all that stuff started happening and the calls started coming in, I think Brighton just being Brighton. I don't know how they always do this. I have no idea. But it always seems like they just have a Matoma Minte just popping out of their butt like every year. I'm like, who the fuck? It's like, who is this guy that they signed? And then bam, he's just rock star.
Yeah.
This kid is a proper player.
Yeah.
He is very, very good. And I think he's only 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, he's another kid, man.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
It's pretty crazy.
Especially when you're talking about like signing a right winger that we don't have.
Yeah. It would have slotted in perfectly. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Let's look at some ins. Lloyd Kelly coming in from Bournemouth. I take it this is one of Eddie's old boys that he's just kind of brought in. Trusty utility man.
I think that's a fair statement, and I also think I don't think it cost anything. So and he's young, and he's like 24, 25.
Yeah.
So kind of bringing the, and has experience. This signing I think was a great signing. Depth. He's a little bit of injury history about him, but again, not having to pay for it is a huge Q.
Yeah, definitely. Another name coming in from Forest, Odysseus Vlachodimos. I'm assuming he's just backup.
Yeah. I don't know how to say his name.
Vlak. You've got another backup goalie as well, right? John Ruddy.
Yeah, that's very odd.
I think OG Fantrax managers would remember him from his Norwich days. He obviously came in from Birmingham City, but yeah, it doesn't hurt to have depth, right? Especially, I guess, maybe Eddie's just scared, like you're gonna get fucked with a bunch of injuries again,
Yeah. Yep. I actually honestly think that Dubravka may be gone.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me because I think they have 5 goalies now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miodrag Pivas, some kid youth player. I think Dynasty managers maybe look at him, but there is another youth player that could be part of the senior setup. Is William Osula coming in from Sheffield United?
Yeah, that's going to be a depth piece.
Yeah.
As we all know, Callum Wilson's hamstrings are that of like over bands, and he's probably only going to play 20 maybe games a season.
Yeah.
Osula is very raw,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a big boy. He's a big kid.
Yeah.
6'4". I think Eddie likes the fact that he can mold him and shape him and trying to get the best out of him. He almost had a goal yesterday. It's called offsides, but it was a good finish. Got in behind, one-on-one with the keep, slots it far post. Looked natural to him. So that's good signs. Good signs, yeah. I like that signing a lot.
So the potential is there to grow into something.
The potential is definitely there, yeah. And Again, kind of like the Livermento when we were talking, like
Yeah.
coming in when you're up 3-0. This kid's gonna play in those types of situations.
Okay, lovely. In terms of old system, into like expected formation, starting 11, new system stuff, can you maybe remind listeners how you guys kind of shaped up last season and what you're expecting moving forward?
Yeah, so it's a 4-5-1 for the most part, with mostly Trippier bombing on the right side. Left side may get a little bit more of that now that Hall is over on that side playing. Dan Burn is not the type of person to bomb down the wing.
Are you telling me you don't want to play Dan Burn versus Ilanga again? Fucking hell.
No.
That frustrated the shit out of me, by the way.
God. That was hard to watch. For everybody. Ilanga was loving it, but god dang, man. So yeah, I could see potentially a 3 in the back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A 3-5-2. And maybe Gordon playing that second attacking role.
Mm-hmm.
Or having Wilson or Osula play that role if need be. There are rumors out there of some players coming in. I don't know if you want to get into those.
Yeah,
rumors.
we can. Is that Mark Gahey? Is that the rumor?
Mark Gahey? Yeah, so that's one that we're pushing for. And so that would, if you have Shar, Gahey, and Botman as your back three, I mean, that's pretty solid. And so I may wouldn't be surprised, I guess, to see that if Gahey comes in. And then the other one is the Chelsea, Mendique. Is that how you say his name?
Who?
Mendique?
Who are we talking about?
Right? On Chelsea? The winger?
Madueke.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, you guys are connected with him. I mean,
rumors.
Yeah, to be fair, we're bringing in like 10 players every fucking day, so somebody has to leave. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. Like, every time I put out a pod, like, we're just doing some nonsense, and like, I've got to update it. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's why I got to timestamp this shit, right? Guys, it's Sunday, okay? Just so you know. It's Sunday the fucking 11th, so...
You guys could field 3 squads.
Oh, bro, we can... Oh, don't even get me started, Kendall. Like...
How do y'all not have a ban? How do y'all not have point deduction?
I don't know. Sell a hotel, you're fine. Like, isn't that what it works? We're playing fucking Monopoly out here, bro. Like...
It's such bullshit. God, it's like putting in cheat codes to fantasy.
So wait, if you play a back three, then I'm assuming Livermento, Hall are gonna be your wing backs. Okay, what? I mean, now that we're talking about wing backs and fullbacks, what the fuck's going on with Trippier, bro?
I think, man, the guy's just old. He's just an old man now. He's getting up there. He's my age. 34 years old. 35 years old. I mean, he didn't look terrible at the Euros, but he didn't look like he was really adding anything. He didn't look like he was necessarily taken away, but he also didn't look like he was adding anything.
I think he's past his prime. That's my thing.
He's definitely and like I said, I mean, I hate to say this about him, but he did cost us moving through the Champions League.
Yeah, no, bro. Like even in the cup versus Chelsea, remember when he let Mudryk get in behind him? He was committing way too many errors. So I would get it. Like the thing is, I avoided him in all my draft leagues. Like I was just not sure.
I don't want him. I mean, and as I say that, I think I may have spent way too much money in this auction draft that I just. But I don't know. I don't even remember my team now.
So who's in front of that back five then? Like. Who's in the 3 behind like Gordon and Isak?
Tonali, Bruno, and Joelinton.
Okay. All right.
Those 3.
That's very comforting to know because I added Joelinton in one of my draft leagues. There was so much uncertainty. But listen, he's a Geordie. He's a proper Geordie, bro.
He's a stud. Now he's playing. Now he's a stud. I don't know. I mean, there used to be a lot of jokes about that guy.
Yeah.
When he was playing forward. But now, man, like in the midfield, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Like I would hate to play against that guy. He reminds me honestly of like prime Musa Sissoko.
Yeah.
When he played in the midfield, just a big, does not back down type of midfielder.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I think was it early last season, he was getting into the Brazil squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be those three, but right behind him.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Injuries and whatnot. You'll see Longstaff slide in there sometimes. You'll see Willock slide in there sometimes. But it'll be mainly those five.
Okay.
Going in and playing. Yep.
All right. Cool. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on to the next segment?
Just avoid the wingers. The Miggy, the Murphy. Murphy's having a great preseason. Murphy's going to be the one starting,
yeah,
I believe.
I saw that.
Out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yep. Just guy can't stop scoring goals in preseason, so I think Murphy's going to be the one starting on the right wing for those drafting.
That's definitely one I think we'll talk about later, is in terms of like a sell high sort of target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the only thing, and maybe it's in here of schedule of a couple of first games.
You guys,
I think
you guys have like one of the easiest runs to start the season.
The first game, yeah, but I think we get like City third game, Tottenham third game,
Tottenham third game, City
sixth.
Yeah,
City sixth.
I mean, first five I think are fair.
Yeah, first five are fair. So yeah, I mean, with everybody healthy,
yeah,
I would not be surprised. Just like looking at it again, like coming out the gate pretty strong. But 3 of those 5 are away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then we get City at home.
Yeah.
So I would say maybe I'd be happy with 12 points out of the first 5. I mean, I'd be really happy about that.
Okay.
10.
Okay. Yeah. I could see it.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point, because I was just looking at the clubs that you guys were facing. But again, given last season's difference between your home form and away form, it's maybe something to kind of approach with a bit more caution.
Yeah, I guess that's what that's I guess the point that I was trying to make there. Yeah. Be a little cautious about it, right? I mean,
okay.
Definitely when we're at home.
Yeah.
Guns going. But
yeah.
Away form is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we come up with. All right, let's chat some Fantrax assets. First pick from Newcastle. I don't. Usually, I always tell like the reps, or this is an easy one, this is an obvious one. I feel like this is actually a tough one, but it's not a bad tough one to have. Like,
oh, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's Isak all day, every day.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why not? Why Isak, not Gordon?
He's just a better player.
Fair.
This guy, my opinion, and obviously biased, whatever, he's the best striker in the EPL.
Behind Nico Jackson.
Okay, alright. Okay.
Oh, it was too
As he starts laughing at his own joke.
But yeah, no, I mean, easily for me. I mean, even different fantasy formats, fantasy games, like, Isak's like the first or second name that I'm adding into any fantasy team right now.
Yeah, I mean, Friday, draws his own, beats, he's literally about to like dribble out of bounds on the touchline, turns that player, beats the next player, and then the third guy just got so frustrated. I don't know if it was the first player recovering, but he just goes and takes him, whacks him down in the box, and draws a PK. Ends up missing this PK, which is ridiculous. But
yeah.
He has such a weird ability to get by people, silky smooth.
For a big guy as well, right?
I know, it's so weird. I think he dribbled through the entire Everton team last year.
Yeah. Had
an amazing assist. But yeah, no, definitely first pick is Isak all day, every day.
He's like a giraffe with elegance.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Gazelle out there. I love him.
Okay.
And surprisingly quick.
Yeah, he really is. So first pick, I'm guessing like latter end of round one, right? Like second half of round one. I don't think you're taking him before like Bruno, Foden, Palmer.
Me being biased, I would go like middle
Okay, yeah,
of round one.
that's fair.
Middle
That's
of
fair.
round one. Yeah.
I mean, listen, you got to draft to enjoy the game as well, right? You gotta have fun.
Right.
So I get it.
He had 25 goal contributions last year.
Yeah.
27 goal contributions, 23 in the EPL.
Mm.
I don't know if there were many that were better than that. I mean, obviously there were a couple, right? But you're looking at top teams. And that's with everything that we said about people being hurt.
Yeah. He missed quite a few games as well, right? So
I think he did, yeah.
because I think he only started 27 games last season, so it's it's an impressive return. You can't deny that.
I mean, it's almost a goal a game.
Yeah, basically.
It's kind of what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And sometimes he was like averaging a brace, it felt like.
yeah, it was. I mean, the guy's just awesome.
Yeah.
He gets his chance. He's basically banging in the goal.
Yeah. All right. In terms of your next three picks and which rounds, have you got?
Gordon late first, early second.
Yeah.
Bruno, probably end of second, third, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And man, the third one, it's a toss up for me. I would probably say Trips, if depending on how much he's playing. I think it's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
But he is also the captain, and we're in the band.
Okay. Was he announced the captain for the season already?
He was mostly the captain last season, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the leadership group of the team has also added Bruno to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
and that kind of, I guess, would say like pushes Bruno up a little bit higher for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruno's not coming out of that team.
Yeah.
At all. But yeah, I'd say Trips, Hall potentially, Livramento,
Okay.
Harvey Barnes, depending on what's going on with the wide players.
Yeah.
And if they get in a right winger, I would probably go that high too.
Yeah. Fair. The only thing I want to touch on from your three picks is Bruno G. So I'll admit I am somewhat skeptical of him replicating the form that he showed at the back end of last season, just because throwing Tonali into the mix, like we've seen Bruno's points fluctuate in Newcastle depending on what position he plays, what role he plays, and that uncertainty and whether or not that was going to change mid-season is what threw me off from drafting him. And I don't know if you've seen something or noticed something in preseason that we can kind of touch on.
I guess let's go back to last season first. And one of the biggest things that I always took from him, or that I was very nervous with him, was he played maybe this last third of the season, one yellow card away from a 3-game suspension.
Fair.
And he did not get a card.
Yeah.
So the guy, and he's playing with, he played half the season with a 17-year-old behind him. He played with different people next to him all the time. So I think I can understand the reluctance just based off of his fluctuation in points, whatnot. But I also think that fluctuation in points has to do a lot with what he was being asked to do week in and week out, and him understanding what he meant to that team by not getting a yellow card for 15 games or whatever it was.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I think that if the rest of who he's playing around and the rest of the team is consistent, I think you'll see that Bruno that showed up at the end of the end of last year when our players started coming back.
Yeah.
That's where my head's at with it, at least. And the guy, like I said, is getting put on the leadership team of the group.
Yeah.
Loves the club, doesn't want to go anywhere else, wants to go down as a legend. I mean, that's who he is. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I don't think he believes that he is going to get anything better out of anywhere else.
Damn, I kind of wish I recorded this pod to start my series. I would have grabbed Bruno in a few more leagues.
I don't points wise. I'd say like 8 points a game average from him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, if you don't get mids in your first 3, maybe 4 rounds, if your draft board is kind of, shit. But yeah, fuck me, man. I should have probably grabbed Bruno. So
where did he go?
I would say like he went like round 3, between the end of round 3 and maybe the start of round 4 sort of thing.
4. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's a fair place.
Yeah, it's fair. But I think I would have probably started most of my drafts trying to take a midfielder or 2 in the first couple of rounds. So by the time it came back to me, I was looking at like a forward instead of Bruno. So
makes sense. I definitely think like having a stack. If you get a Gordon or a Isak, doing that stack would be crucial. Would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Have you got any hidden gems?
I just think Tonali.
Okay.
That's the biggest one for me. I don't even think he got drafted in my draft.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's undrafted in most leagues, yeah.
Right. And we gotta remember, I mean, this guy was what was the fee? 60?
He was expensive.
60, 70,
it wasn't cheap.
Right? I mean, was not cheap.
Yeah.
This kid he's going to be very, very, very good. Definitely like my biggest hidden gem sleeper that nobody is. I think that when we do this next year, knock on wood, we're going to be talking him 4th round.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Some bold calls. I love it. I love it. Nice. In terms of a trap asset, then,
I think Shar.
Yeah,
Shar
I could see that.
Trap.
I could see that.
He's played a lot of games,
Mm.
and he's 32-ish, 31, 32. If Gahey comes in, he's gonna be Shar or Gahey battling it out whenever Botman gets back. So I would say, yeah, that's the trap. That's the only one that I can really think of that people would be drafting. Yeah, I would say Shar.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of managers would have taken him as their defender 1, defender 2 realistically, but some maybe defender 1, right? And yeah, for some reason in the back of my head, I've been thinking, there's no way he's going to maintain this like goal scoring streak and all of that as well. And like you said, like now picking up the injury during preseason, he used to have that in his history as well, picking up injuries. So yeah, I kind of like that trap. Yeah.
And where did Switzerland was in the Euros?
Yeah.
And I think he played every game.
Not sure about that actually.
For them, I'd have to go back and look, but
yeah.
Either way, I mean, he was playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Just in general, like from the end of the season to Euros. Sound like Gordon, who never saw the pitch. The one time he did, they always scored.
You love that boy though.
Oh, I do. Good. I love him.
Maybe Shar played all of Euros. I don't know. Can't remember, to be honest. That's so far ago. That's so long ago.
How far Switzerland go? How long did Switzerland get? How far
I think
did they go?
They got until like they beat Italy in the knockouts, and then they got knocked out after that. I think.
Okay, so like quarters, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a good run.
Yeah. They're usually a bit of a dark horse team. So
they do. Yeah. I think Shaqiri is still playing.
Oh, what?
Still scoring.
He's still scoring bangers, bro. Like, it's amazing. It's so good.
It's the MLS. Making him better.
Do you have any other assets you want to touch on, or shall we move on to our final segment?
Let's move on.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we touched on them all.
All right. So you're an experienced manager. You've been around the Play Toga days. So I'm gonna start off with a bit of a fun question. Do you have any sort of drafting day tradition? Do you need to be wearing a Newcastle kit? Do you need to have a pepperoni pizza?
What I've kind of I've noticed that I feel for me at least, going into the draft more unprepared
Yeah.
than prepared
Yeah.
has always worked out better.
Yeah.
When I go in, I say prepared, meaning like looking up transfers and looking up their highlights. Oh, that kid's gonna be good. That player's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And I ended up drafting them way too high.
Yeah.
And second, they usually don't even play. Like the first 3, 4, 5 weeks. So I feel like, for me at least, just going in level-headed, picking players that have consistently been playing throughout the last couple of years. It's always a hit or miss on new players coming in the league.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That's the only thing that I would say from a tradition or a method or.
Yeah. So you're more a vibes than an Excel sheet manager now, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, definitely say that. Yeah, I would say that I used to be the other.
Yeah.
But it's more now just like I was talking to you today when we were doing the draft, and
Yeah.
like I was like, I drafted Suchek. And you're like, oh, new manager, doesn't know if you play. I'm like, the guy started 33 games last year. The guy starts every single year and he puts up points.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it, but I don't know if he's gonna play, not play. Maybe you heard something different. I don't know. I haven't even paid attention, so I didn't even know that noise was gone to begin with. Yeah, and so I'm like, well, I just think the guy's gonna play.
Yeah. I mean, you never know, right? Football's not played on paper, right? It's played on the pitch. So all us content creators could be massively fucking wrong and watch the check like start game week 1 to 38 straight. Like, you never know.
5 goals, 200 headers won.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any experience trading draft picks?
This year, not really. Last year, I did it a couple times. Beat myself up over it every single time I did it.
Yeah.
I did not like doing it. People trading fab draft picks.
Yeah.
I know. That's a danger. No, I don't let no. That's a dangerous game.
All right. FA claims, waiver picks. Do you have a particular strategy for this? Like, are you more eye test? Or are you more data? More fixtures?
I'm more data on this, I'd say. And there's a lot of things I look at, not just from the form of the player. That's kind of the most obvious, right? Form of a player is,
Yeah.
guy's playing great, go and pick him up. But it's also a matchup dependent. How has a right winger, how have the last 3 right wingers done versus that left back? Are they home? Are they away? What's the home record versus the away record?
So like the splits in Fantrax.
Yeah, the splits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do look at those a lot. Injury history.
Mm-hmm.
And also kind of a weird one I'd say is like weather.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like Southampton's way down there.
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Yeah.
Well, so you got Southampton going to be a little bit warmer than playing up in the Northeast, right? So, especially when it gets around like the winter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how much different it is, but I would assume that it's like at least significant enough to person not playing, not used to that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a foreigner,
like a South American player. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Coming in, so that's kind of a odd thing, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think like for some reason I have a vague memory of like Gabriel Jesus. I think some interview he did when he was at City talking about like, oh yeah, he doesn't like the cold weather, etc., etc. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, these guys are human, right? They're gonna respond in a natural way as well, right? So yeah, that's a very interesting point. Next question we have is Fab. So you use Fab.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Yeah.
usually budget it across your season?
I try to either get rid of it by the end of the first transfer window, or just hold on to it altogether until the second transfer window. What I've seen, really, and what I've experienced is getting rid of it through the first transfer window is a better option. It's what I try to do more of.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I hate sitting on it.
Yeah.
People are usually not willing to trade players for it.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen. I don't think that picking up players on the waiver wire with Fab is that useful, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people just get them for free anyways.
Mm. Yeah. So like when you do waiver bids, do you just chuck like $0 bids then?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you tend to get your players, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, unless there's somebody that's like, really into form or whatever, money on it. But normally, no. Or I'm usually using it to try and get bench players off other people's teams.
Yeah. So like if like Andy Robertson was injured, you're trying to grab Simicast to kind of fuck him over in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Trades. Do you have any best or worst moments from last season that you did?
Just the draft pick. Just draft picks. That was bad.
All right. And then before we sign off from Newcastle completely, I mean, we talked about the start of your season, right? Are there any assets you'd be recommending to managers to either buy low or sell high from Newcastle?
Well, I think we touched on one, Murphy.
Yeah.
I think, right? Murphy's going to come in. He's going to start right off the bat. I think he's probably going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'd probably try to sell high. And then I think the buy low is Tonali. I think, like we said, people may not have even drafted him, thinking about him. Nobody really ever saw how good or not good he is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he's got a year working his ass off, from what everybody said, in training. And I know, I'm sure that he's so eager to play.
Yeah.
And wants to do and fight for everything. So
yeah,
that's going to be my buy low. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So now that brings us to our final question. So over the past few seasons that you've played, are there any lessons that you've learned that you're taking into the upcoming campaign that you think will maybe help you be a more successful Fantrax manager?
So I think the biggest thing is just having an alarm for games, for lineups coming out, and alarm for waiver whenever the goes, whenever waiver goes. Depending on where you are in the world and who you're playing with, it can be very tough. And I think so. One of the other things I guess the big one is I personally don't overexert yourself in so many leagues with so much money involved in each league.
Yeah,
you can't keep track of it all. You'll lose. I mean, you'll stop caring. Whatever. I don't like to do that. I think I was in like 3 leagues last year, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm only in 1 league this year.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to like have burnout from a game that you love.
Yeah, no. And again, I'm not on my computer all day.
Yeah.
So like when the waiver wire.
Yeah.
trying to search through free agents on my phone, and I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't know what league I'm in.
Yeah. The UI isn't friendly for people in multiple leagues. Definitely, it's a bit of a chore to navigate. Yeah. All right, cool. Listeners, that's all we had planned for today's pod. To dates, I combined today and tonight. I'm clearly exhausted.
To dates?
Yeah, we're almost done, man. There've been so many of these club series, but listen, people have fucking loved them, so I'm gonna keep going. I'll keep going. I love you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But before we sign off, do you have any final words?
Go Geordies.
Hey, love it. Well, hopefully next time you're on the pod, I'll play that Champions League music for you again. You know.
Oh, I would love it. Yeah, I would absolutely love that.
All right, listeners. Again, I think we only have like a handful more club previews to do. Hope you've enjoyed everything so far. We're almost at the finish line. Hopefully all your drafts are almost done, wrapping up soon. The season is under a week away. I cannot believe it, man. Time has absolutely flown. But yeah, until next time. Sorry?
I said I'm stoked. I'm so excited.
I know, man. Same here. Until next time, listeners. Peace.